One of the biggest debates in Beyblade has always been Ryuga versus Faust. These two were far and away the strongest bladers of Metal Masters. I mean, you had your top tier characters like Jinga, Kyoya, and Damien, and then a whole tier above those guys is where you had Faust and Ryuga. It's sort of like Messi and Ronaldo. Both of these characters are just so clear of the rest of the competition, but who's the strongest between them? I think it's a very interesting question that's worth diving into, so I posted this poll a few weeks ago as of this recording, and if you look at the results, you'd probably ask, why is this even a debate? 80% of people think that Ryuga's stronger. And fair enough, the people have spoken, and that is a staggering difference. If you ask me, it's a lot closer, but I gotta say, these results don't surprise me in the slightest. I posted this poll knowing full well that Ryuga was not only going to win, but it was going to be by a lot. Part of it, honestly, just comes down to him being more popular. Like, there are some fans of the Metal series who will just vote for Ryuga, regardless of who he's up against. Seriously, I could have put Goku in this poll, and some people still would have chosen Ryuga, because it's Ryuga, which, fair enough, he's the GOAT. Also, another reason these results could be so one-sided is because people either forget how good Faust was, which, I mean, he was only in the show for a few episodes, so I understand, or people just never fully understood Faust. Whatever the reason may be, though, I think it's definitely a lot closer than this poll would lead you to believe, so let's talk about it. Faust versus Ryuga, who is the undisputed strongest blader of Metal Masters? Well, to be honest, both bladers have a very realistic path to victory, and we're going to talk about both. Starting with Faust, he can win this match very easily under one condition. It all comes down to the black hole. If he can launch this move against Ryuga, there's a good chance he wins just like that. I say this because we've never actually seen anyone break out of this move. When Jinga and Masamune got caught in it, it was over. They were just frozen. They were just sitting around waiting to be defeated. They couldn't do anything until Ryuga pierced a small hole through the move, and then they were able to escape. And for Zio and Masamune, they got out by extremely situational circumstances. They were able to talk to Toby, bring him back through their shared memories, which no one else would be able to do in a match against Faust. So, both times this move was quote-unquote defeated, it was by very, very unconventional means, things that couldn't happen in an ordinary 1v1. So you could say this move was defeated twice, but no one has ever been directly caught in the move and broke out from there. It just hasn't happened. Now, I know what Ryuga supporters are probably thinking. What about the time where Ryuga literally broke through the move in the show, accidentally? He launched El Drago and went on a rampage destroying Hades City and unknowingly ripped a hole through the black hole. And yeah, he did that. It was extremely impressive for him to cause all of that damage from so far away, but I think we're giving this feat a little too much credit. Yes, Ryuga technically broke through the move, but there is a huge difference between breaking through from the outside like Ryuga did versus being fully caught inside of this move and then breaking out, which no one has ever done before. In my opinion, He-Man's comment hit it right on the nose. Once you're trapped inside of this move, you're trapped. We've never seen anyone escape from the inside. We've never seen anyone get close. Now, what Ryuga did was still very impressive, but it's nowhere near the same thing. Once you're in there, you can't move. And I know we'd like to give Ryuga the benefit of the doubt. We think he'd find a way. But there's literally nothing proving that he could do this. Also, this black hole move, this spiral dimension, it isn't even a physical place. Like, yes, tempo makes a barrier, but while Jinga and Masamune were floating through space, their Beyblades were just on the normal stadium, just spinning. And this leads me to believe that this black hole is similar to Ryutero's distortion drive, in the sense that it's mostly in your mind. Kind of like a genjutsu from Naruto. If you get caught in one, in real life, it looks like you're kind of just sleeping, but in your mind, in the genjutsu, you're getting tortured and you can feel it. I think this black hole is similar. Masamune and Jinga, they felt helpless, frozen, just floating through space, but their feet were actually planted on the earth. It's also pretty similar, I'd say, to Reggie's move, where he would turn you to stone. I don't think Kenta was actually turning into stone. I think from the outside, it probably just looked like he was standing there still, frozen in fear. So I think that's kind of similar to this black hole. So if Ryuga was in this position, floating through space like Jinga or Masamune, and then he started moving and broke through with El Drago, there would be no debate. Ryuga would win easily. But that's not what he did. He broke through from outside, which, again, still very impressive, but nowhere near the same thing. And I just don't know if Ryuga could do the same thing from Jinga Jenga's position right here, I mean, like I said, there's nothing really telling us that he could. There's no evidence suggesting that he could. So Faust's path to victory, it's very simple. He launches the spiral dimension, and Ryuga slowly drifts away into defeat, not being able to do a thing. I know it's hard to picture Ryuga going out like that, but this is honestly a pretty likely scenario. But let's flip things over to the Ryuga side. How could Ryuga win this? Well, Spin Steel is worth mentioning. Hypothetically, Ryuga could be able to beat anyone with Spin Steel, only if they can't beat him first. Like, disregarding Rago's Spin Steel thing, theoretically, Medio El Drago should be able to defeat Nemesis just based off of Spin Steel alone, but Nemesis is strong enough to defeat El Drago before it runs out of spin, and if Twisted Tempo unleashes the black hole, I think he'll defeat Ryuga before Ryuga takes all of his spin. So I don't think Spin Steel is going to do much here. Now, what if Ryuga tried to end the match before the black hole? After all, Faust and Tempo aren't really designed for the traditional Bay battle. It's designed to spin forever, create a ridiculous amount of energy, and power the spiral core. So if Ryuga can turn this into a normal Bay battle, he could probably win. The only problem is, Faust uses the black hole move very early on. He's not a conventional blader. He doesn't do the whole, hey, let's clash back and forth for a while, let me gauge where your strength is at, and eventually I'll use my special move at the end. No, he pretty much only uses the black hole. His whole game plan is just using the spiral dimension. So it is possible, but Ryuga probably isn't going to end the match before the spiral dimension is used. Tempo has amazing stamina and defense, so it'd already be hard to KO normally, let alone trying to do it that early in the match. So now, let's talk about the only way that I think Ryuga could realistically win this, and that's if he somehow circumvents the black hole. This is what we were sort of talking about earlier. If he gets caught in the move, could he be able to break out? Once again, I'm leaning no, but if anyone were to find a way, I'd put my money on Ryuga. Ryuteru's mind games didn't work on him, partly due to reverse rotation, so maybe Ryuga could break out of this one. He's as mentally strong as you can be, and really, maybe he finds a way. And if he does that, if he breaks out of the black hole, then there is nothing keeping him from victory. It would just turn into a normal Beyblade battle, and in that case, Twisted Tempo is not keeping up with Ryuga. His stamina and defense will only take him so far. The Dragon Emperor's Supreme Flight would decide it. So yeah, it once again all comes down to the black hole. If Ryuga fades away like Jenga and Masamune were about to, it's game over for him, and that's a victory for Faust. But on the other hand, if Ryuga can somehow move through the black hole, which wouldn't blow my mind, he could probably break out, and then he'd secure his victory with the Dragon Emperor's Supreme Flight. Now, what do I think? I'm leaning towards Faust. I mean, once again, we have no reason to believe that Ryuga could break out, and that's not a diss on his strength. I'm not saying he's not strong enough to break out, but I mean, if you can't move, you can't move. If I were to fight Mike Tyson and he couldn't move, it'd probably take me a while to knock him out, but eventually I would win, right? So we're not saying Mike Tyson isn't strong enough to defeat me, but if he can't move, he can't move. So it all comes down to that black hole. Let me know what you think. Could Ryuga break out of the black hole if he's stuck inside of it? Or is he going to suffer the same fate as Jenga, Masamune, and just kind of float through space, waiting to be defeated? For me, it's really hard to say, but once again, there is no doubt in my mind that if Ryuga could break out of the black hole, he would win. Because then it just turns to a normal Beyblade battle, where Ryuga has had thousands of those, and Faust and Twisted Tempo, they're brand new, they don't have that experience, they don't know what to do when they're facing some adversity, they're not designed for Bay battles in general, so if Ryuga can break out, he 100% wins. And yeah, it's literally that simple. If Ryuga breaks out, he wins. If he gets stuck in the move, he loses. So once again, I'm leaning towards Faust because I don't think there's any substantial evidence that Ryuga could move through the black hole and therefore break out. There's just no evidence pointing to that. But I want to hear what you think. Comment down below. I know it's hard to picture Ryuga just sitting there not being able to move. I know we would like to think that Ryuga could find a way and break out, but I feel like at that point, we would just be speculating. And I also will consider the fact that Ryuga is a real blader. Faust is kind of like manufactured, Tempo is created. so he doesn't have that experience or anything like that. So maybe that would make you want to bet on Ryuga. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little conflicted because I think Ryuga is definitely a better blader than Faust because Faust doesn't really battle. But in terms of strength and who would win a match, I just think the black hole would be too much for Ryuga to deal with. I don't think he would be able to break through. Now, do I think this move is completely impenetrable? No. I think a majority of the legendary bladers could probably break out, and I know that probably sounds like a contradiction, and I know Ryuga with Medio El Drago is still very strong compared to legendary bladers, but I just feel like Kyoya, Jinga, Ryuga, Chris, and King, guys like that from Metal Fury, would be able to break out just through their Blader spirits alone. And that's based in zero evidence. I know it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, and maybe I am, but also Twisted Tempo was designed based off of Galaxy Pegasus and Medio El Drago's power, and in Metal Fury, both of those Beyblades evolve and become stronger, so at that point, I feel like the stronger legendary bladers could find a way to break out. But yeah, that's kind of all that I've got. Let me know what you think about, of course, Ryuga versus Faust, but also let me know what you think about that last part. Do you think the legendary bladers could break out? Because I feel like they could, but I probably couldn't provide like a clear explanation on how. I just don't think they would lose to Faust, is what I'm saying. But yeah, what do you think about Ryuga versus Faust? If you went into this video thinking Ryuga, did I convince you that Faust would probably win? Or do you think I'm wrong? Did I analyze something incorrectly? Let me know if you think Ryuga still just easily wins against Faust. And also let me know any other videos you want to see here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the recent support on all of our videos. And I will see you in the next video.